check here. Looks like we're still good. So I've been getting this question quite a bit from you guys, and I appreciate the heck out of every one of you. So I'm gonna I'm gonna give it a try. I can't guarantee nothing, but I will try my best. I might need some of my friends out there. They might have to message me, make sure that I'm awake for when I do a live stream. So Jason mentioned, he emailed me. Jason, super duper appreciate the email. And he brings up the fact that he was talking about doing, like, when could we schedule a live stream? And put a little light on my face here. See if I can put a little light on the situation. I don't think that's a bad idea. Let's do no light. You're just gonna have to play in the dark. So, what's up, Steven? How are you? I hope you're doing good. So, what I'm gonna try to do is I think I'm gonna shoot for Sunday, because the way I figure it, and I'm sure you guys will let me know otherwise, if I shoot for 8 o'clock, is what I'm thinking. I'm gonna shoot for 8 o'clock on Sunday, 8 p.m. Just gonna check a couple things real quick here while we're going. So today, I'm gonna bring in a little bit of some of the situations that we run into as garage door technicians. Draw the look. Oh man, you're here. You're here. That's awesome. Canada's here. I'd kind of like to live up in Canada a little bit, because I hear a lot of things are changing, and boy, I tell you, and not that the United States hasn't got their own problems. It sounds like you guys can't have no pow-pows, let's just say. So today, the reason I jumped on here is I'm waiting for my helper. I'll probably take some documentation. But we're going to, today is a miserable day outside. I mean, it's awful. It's that same customer I said I should have fired. We're gonna drive, roughly an hour and 15 one way. Shouldn't have done it. And I'm really bummed about it. Because what's really the crappy part is that tomorrow is Sunday, and tomorrow there's 0% chance of rain. But today is 100% chance of rain. Yeah, I could do it during the week, but the whole week looks the same way. It looks like rain on and off. And I got a helper today that I'm really gonna be excited about. So, all right, let's make this more official. All right. And so one of those things that a lot of people, I was thinking about it today. I'm always thinking about you guys. I was thinking I'm filling up water jugs, right? Because I don't have room in the van for my big water container that I normally would carry. And that one's really nice because I can hook my pump up to it. I can use it. I can have it just like a garden hose, like at your house. You can spray things down and everything. We got to do just very little concrete. We're just going to dig a little hole for a gooseneck today for a keypad. And I'm just like, for one, I didn't have enough jugs, so I had to grab a few more. I had to find some. And I'm filling up the water jugs, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about you guys, and I'm going, this is the stuff right here that a lot of people don't understand. And that's, I used to do roofing. I had a roofing business, and I remember, the one guy I worked with, I'd always order the shingles, right? And I'm sure you guys can relate to this, especially if you're in the business. If you're an employee and you're looking to get in the business, you probably can still relate. But if you're just an absolute employee and that's the mindset, you might not get this. But I shouldn't say that. I don't know. Everybody's different. But so I remember I get the shingles, right? And I remember the guy would always be like, "Why'd you bet so many shingles?" And I'm like, well, I got like 8 or 10 or I don't know, sometimes 10, 20 more extra shingles than what I needed to. And it wasn't because I wanted to spend the extra money or anything. But I always remember it was like, I told him, his name was Rodney. And I said, "Rodney," I said, "look, dude," I said, "here's the thing. I said, those shingles are here. I said, we got the manpower here. We got all the guys. I said, the thing is, I said, if we run out of shingles, I said, you know what's going to happen? The guys they're going to start wandering around. They're going to be like, well, looks like the roof is about 3/4 of the way done. I mean, I got a kid's birthday party to go to, or I got a party to go drink beer at. I mean, I can probably, you probably can handle it, right? Well, you start getting one, you start getting two, you start getting three guys that start peeling off on you. And you're like, now you're there with maybe one other guy, maybe. And you're now, something goes wrong. You find something unforeseen, you got to do cleanup, you forgot about that, you're miserable. And it's like, if the shingles are here, we got plenty of material. Oh man, I just ripped this one. Oh man, this one's damaged. Oh, whatever, this one I screwed up. Not a problem, not a problem, not a problem, not a problem. Here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. And they just all keep working, right? And then at the end of the job, you got to do a little cleanup, right? You got to go back maybe the next day, pick up the shingles that you had left over, right? That's return, right? You can make some extra money, whatever, get some of your money back. That's easy. That's a one-man job. You know what I mean? Pick some shingles up, you throw them in the back of a truck, whatever, take them back, refund, you deal with your customer the next day while you're a little cleaner, more sober, just not so stinky. So, but anyways, so I think what we're going to do is, Mr. Jason brought this up. So it's Eastern Daylight Time. So 8 p.m. I'm going to shoot for on Sunday. We'll do a live. And that way you guys can, if you can make it, you can make it. If you can't, you can't. Whatever, we can do a live stream. You can think of your questions, put them in your phone, put your notes. I got a notepad I have on my phone. I type everything on it because my brain is always spinning so fast. I can't save it. I don't even know what it is. I should find out what the app is and figure out what it is. So let me jump over here and see if I can see some of your guys' comments because I changed it around a little today. Yesterday I didn't like it because my computer was lagging and I had the camera turned around and I couldn't see comments and stuff. So I'm still trying to work out the bugs a little bit of what works the best here. So bear with me. But yeah, so I'm super stoked. I got about another 30 minutes or so, 45 minutes. We got Mr. Caleb coming actually. He's going to come in and help today. So that's awesome because it is just that soaker rain today. I was already out there getting things. And so what I was getting at too with that was that, when you always go, so I'm thinking to myself, I go, man, I have to go above and beyond, right? So I'm going above and beyond right now. And all this stuff is, I got to turn this audio off. This will get all screwed up. So what it'll do is, so now the problem is like, I got more water jugs than I probably need, right? And now at the end of the job, now I got to clean those darn things up. I got to dump them out. I got to haul them out. I got more concrete than I need. So it's just a never ending, I always tell myself, I think as contractors, I think we get screwed. I really do. I mean, don't get me wrong. We got to go out. We got to make a living. We got to do our job, right? I mean, that's just the nature of the beast in a sense. But when you think about it, it's like you show up, right? And you're like the savior, especially if you're a good contractor and all that kind of stuff, honest, and you do good work. You're the savior. You show up there, you do the job, right? And they go, wow, you did that really fast. And you're like, yeah, well, you didn't see the 2 to 4 hours that I spent behind the scenes getting this thing ready. When I had to unload in the truck and I made sure I didn't slam the door down to dent the door. I had to put it back on the truck. I mean, there's so many things. So I see Jason on here. Yeah. Buying extra materials yeah. Yep, so it's just one of those things. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, I go, the van is an absolute mess right now because I had to just throw things in there and it started getting to be like today, people don't realize it, I don't think my wife understands it to some degree. She does, but you know what I mean? Like the magnitude, like me and you, me and you. So now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, we got rain. I mean, it's heavy rain. So I literally have to take our personal, what do you call it? It's like an easy out. I have to take our personal easy out that's not meant for construction, right? And I got to bring the weights because it might be windy down there. You don't know, right? I mean, you just don't know until you get there. Now you got to, I brung an umbrella, that we can probably strap to a ladder if need be, just to keep some of the hard rain. Now I did bring the rain suits if need to be, but just sometimes things don't go that way. So I mean, this thing just added 10% more extra work with the rain because the customer won't let me work there Sunday. And so it's just like, you know, and I'm thinking about, I'm like, there's concrete. The concrete's the big thing. The water, the concrete, the shovels, the postal digger. There's just a ton more that gets added to it. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm going to tell the customer like, hey, unless it's locally, we're just not gonna travel this far because it seems like it never fails. Every time, this is the second time this has happened where it's this time of year, and I always tell myself, this time of year is, it seems like when you get older, I always admired my dad. He knows the seasons, right? Where when I was young, and I still feel like I'm young, where I kind of look at it and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that, but I'm getting better now, right? Like one little like clue was for us anyways up in Michigan is you got was it Memorial to Labor? So Memorial to Labor, until I heard that one time, Memorial Day to Labor Day is your summer. And now I look at that, right? I always use those as keys, right? I'm like, okay, we're getting close to labor. It's going to be time to, all of September to me is always your winterization, right? September is the time to get everything ready, winterize boats, pumps, whatever, right? There's seasonalities to things. And I know right now, when I was seeing what was, all right, let's see if that works better for muted. Have to watch this. Maybe it's got a low battery. Seems like I could never run this thing out of battery. And now it might be out of battery. We'll see. So that should be a little better. So let's leave that there. Appreciate that. So what it is if I have to, I'll just unplug it. It went muted. There you go. There you go. It says there. That should be better. We'll just go to mic on there. Hopefully that works. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Am I here, Houston? Houston, do we have any problems? Can you hear me now? Watch this. I'll see if I can do it on here. Let's see if I can do it on. Yep. Okay, we're good. We're back. So, the seasonality of things. Like I said, Memorial to Labor Day is the seasonality of things. And so, like right now, we are in the same situation. I'm talking to the guy that runs the shop there, and he's like, I am slammed. He's like, I'm absolutely slammed. And I'm like, you're gonna be. I'm like, you're one technician down right now. You're training another one. You got the holidays coming up. You got the sicknesses of coming up. You got the depression of stuff. I mean, everything is changing. You can see it right now. And got corporations wanting to spend the money. They want to get the stuff on the books right now. But what I didn't realize, and I only know this because I was back in the 06, is that like commercial's lagging. So commercial might take you, it might be 2 to 3 years before you see commercial start to slow down. That's how it worked for us. When the first, I don't know if I'm supposed to use that word. I might get dinged on that. The first R, recession, I think I can use recession, is that when it came, like I said, all it takes right now is residential. Residential is going to be the one that if they come out on the media right now and they say, yep, we're actually in a recession, things aren't looking good, this bank just closed. If they come out more in the public, see right now everybody's focused on the W's, 2 W's that are going on. But once they come out and do that, that's when residential will cut right off. And then what'll happen is the thing with commercial is this stuff's already planned. It's already on the books. It's already been paid for in a sense. The banks already have things on contract. So you have to, like I said, for us, it took like 2 to 3 years. And then we were going into, one of them was, we were doing Herman Miller. And like, here's an example. When we used to go in there, they were just so ecstatic for us to be there working. And I remember we'd go in there and there'd be like 6 or 8 maintenance guys. And they had these little desks, like little cubicles that were in like a, kind of like a barn type area, big warehouse. But they had their own little cubicles. And I remember we'd walk past them all the time. I mean, my partner at the time, we were like, what's up with these guys? Why are they just sitting around? There's like 8 of them. They're all just sitting on the computer. I mean, you'd walk past and you know how it is. You can tell they're playing games on the computer. They're just sending some emails out. Like they're not real hustling busy. And then all of a sudden, about 2 to 3 years in, we started realizing, like I had this one guy, it was kind of funny. He says, I gotta drive you around in the lift. And I'm like, oh, okay. They normally let me just drive it, not a problem. Yeah, they want me to go with you. Now he's a new guy too, right? And I'm like, so we're up in the lift and I'm working on a garage door spring. And I kind of asked him, I said, so what you doing? I said, are you watching me? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, I just haven't got nothing else to do. And I said, what are you doing? I said, you learning my job? And he goes, well, they want me just to kind of see what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And I said, what do I got to do? Break your kneecaps? Like you're taking my job, aren't you? And slowly, it didn't happen overnight, but all of a sudden it was like, all of a sudden we go in there one day and the cubicles are all gone. Now they got tables that you can't even sit at, right? They're tables that you stand, and there might be a little like bench seat type thing that you could like kind of lean on or maybe sit on partially, kind of like a bar stool. And there's only 3 of them. And I tell you what, all of a sudden we weren't in there anymore. And it was like we got pushed out. They were because they're making corrective action going, hey, now that residential slowed down, we're not selling so much. We're not selling much to these other places. We got to start figuring out how to cut cost here. And so they're always really slow. And that's why I like the commercial, because they're not as like spontaneous. It seemed like it was overnight residential, just dry right up. And it was like, they typically have to, there's still things that some people will fix, broken springs, you say, hey, you need a door bottom panel and that. And they're like, well, that's just going to have to wait. But it was funny how things just boom. I mean, just all it takes is from that media and things can go down. So I think, like I said, we're going to do, we'll try Sunday. We'll try to do at 8 p.m. We'll shoot for that. I'll try to shoot up, do a live stream. And that way, what you guys got? Mr. Tom, what's up, Dave? At the bank this morning making a deposit. Guy in line approached me, pulled the video on his phone, asked me if I ever seen one of these operators. The Old Blue. What is Old Blue? Is that the crane opener, or like what is that, the Scientific? I really like that Scientific, man. I'm so happy that one of the guys found it for me. That was awesome of him. And it's in like mint condition, the Scientific. I can't wait I'm gonna get that running. I'm gonna show you guys that kind of in action, because it's just a sweet opener. It's just nostalgic, I kind of have a feeling you guys are like me. We're good old boys, we're honest, we're faithful, we try our hardest, and it's so sad to see what's going on in just the world. It's pathetic, honestly. It's really pathetic. It's sad that, I grew up with like some of the grandpas, one of my wife's side grandpa that's alive, they came up in those eras that they were going to make, something last 50 years, and Bob down the road, he thinks his is going to last 55. Well, I'll make mine last 60. And it's just amazing how much we live into a disposable world now, that you just throw stuff away. It's just sad. It really is. I don't particularly like it. It's amazing how labor's gotten so high, and then things have gotten kind of cheaper in a sense, where it's like with openers, you don't really repair them too much anymore, maybe a gear kit or something like that, maybe a trolley, but Otherwise, it's, if it's got a ghost in it, how many times can you go back and you're losing money? You know what I mean? And you gotta just kind of tell the customer. So everything I hear it through family members, I hear it through friends and stuff. And they, my one uncle was telling me the one day, he goes, they want to replace the furnace, and he goes, there's nothing wrong with that furnace. And he's not a furnace guy. He knows his way around. He's a pretty smart guy. But I'm going, Tom says, yes, scientific. That's awesome. But, it's like, I can look at it because I go, that technician, that owner, that person, that service person, there might be something that they go, you know what, this is going to keep reoccurring. She's an older lady. She says she has the money or whatever it is. I don't want her to go cold this winter. You know what I mean? Like every situation's different. That's a good point. That if they wanted things to last, 10 to 20 years, yeah, none of it makes sense. I mean, I know you guys, we're all common sense thinkers, and it's just common sense isn't there anymore. And so that's why, like, if you get into this industry, you can have it made. It's just there's a lot of resistance. A lot of resistance. I was reading something this morning. It's not coming to the top of my head. And I thought, until you are on the other side, I didn't know this. I didn't know this until I ran a business. And I tell you what, when you go on the other side of the fence, your mind just goes, it expands so much. I used to be the person that I'd go to, when I go to a job, I remember job interviews, and they'd always ask, why do you want this job? And it's like, why do you think I want this job? I need money, stupid. Well, what do you think you'll bring to the job? Do you have reliable transportation? Heck yeah, I got reliable transportation. I'll make it. All these things, right? And then now it's funny that I look at it and I go, I'm on the other side, and it's amazing, like, how many people I've had walk in the door that wanted jobs, right? Wearing flip-flops, sweatpants, don't have a driver's license, and they're like, well, I need a job. And I'm like, you need to learn how to dress, and you need to have a driver's license. Like, we don't sit here at the shop all day and rake leaves. Like, I mean, we don't have a lot of helper positions. We need leaders, we need good technicians. And so it just blows my mind when, you're on that side and you look at, one thing that I didn't ever know was workman's comp. And with the employees and workman's comp, I remember I was telling the lady, or I think it was my accountant, and they ended up saying, they said, well, if you give them a raise, you're going to pay more in workman's comp. And I said, wait. I said, if I pay my secretary more money, I said, let's say she's making $10 an hour. And I said, I pay her $20 an hour. I said, double her. And he goes, yep. He goes, your workman comp's going to go. But she's doing the same job. I mean, she's sitting there in front of a computer. She's not climbing ladders. She's not doing nothing risky. She might get a paper cut. I know. She might break a nail on the keyboard. I mean, and I'm not discounting, because it's a very important job that I don't like doing, and they do an excellent job. But the point is, on the workman's comp, that if you double their pay, you're going to pay more in workman's comp. And you're like, so I would have never thought, when it was like, when I used to always want a raise, it was like, well, I got the money, this and that, but you don't understand. It's like, if I give you a $2 hour raise, it's really costing me $4, maybe even more. You know what I mean? And so it's amazing how the system is just so, like, I always like that, they call it the government. Well, like a governor on your car makes you only go so fast. So you're governed. And so there's just so many things that I look at it, and, it's like today, I made sure that I told Caleb, I said, he's coming out, and I said, hey, make sure I mean, these are things you got to look out, right? If he gets into a car accident, let's just say, God forbid, and I'm the one that texted him and said, hey man, you're running late, I'm really upset, all these things, right? And you don't think about it right now. You don't think in the moment because it hasn't happened. But if he gets into a car accident, let's say he rolls a van, he hits a tree, whatever this scenario, he might cause damage to himself, the car, he might kill himself. Like I said, heaven forbid. if they, that all this stuff is monitored. If they go back and they sit there and they go, well, we wonder if you were a key witness into this, or a, suspect, because you promoted him to, and you should have known that, he's a young driver, blah, blah, blah. These are all things you got to think about. I mean, and so, I make sure I always tell them, hey, take your time, and I'm not in no rush. And I said, as a joke, don't drive too fast in those bald tires. You know what I mean? Because I've been there. I've been a young kid. I know how it is. I drove fast. I've hydroplaned before. I haven't spun out hydroplaning, but I've had my fair share of accidents. So there's just all these layers to make something turn out, and this job still might not turn out. I've tried everything for a couple days now, putting everything together. I've gone through my list twice, because the last video, or the one video you guys haven't seen yet, I did a lot of foo bars in there. And so that one was a bad deal. So let's see if you got anything. Scientific. Yeah. What else you got here? Let me see here if I can see on this better. Building, fire, max, phones, appliances. Yeah, the phones are to fail in 5. Yeah. Really open my eyes if I had to pay. What's that saying that Henry Ford always said? If people really understood the monetary system, there would be a revolution or revolt the next day. I mean, isn't that the truth? But so many people are glued to the everything. They're glued to the sports. They're glued to everything you can think of. I mean, the NASCAR. I mean, it's, if you look at it, like, what was it, like the Rome, or you watch Gladiators? I can't remember, what was it, Max Force, or what was it, Sparta? Maybe not Sparta, but you think about these videos and stuff like that, and it's like they're telling you this stuff symbolically. I mean, they're telling you it there, but you just have to believe it and believe it exists. Kind of like the mafia. A lot of people don't. The mafia don't. What happens to that one lady that ran that starts with an H? And a lot of people have done the Houdini. It's amazing how the one guy, what was it? One that was doing bench presses or whatever, and that bar came down and killed him before the day he was supposed to testify. I'm just saying. Oh man. Dealt with, but every has given. Yeah, that's the truth, Jason, on that. They don't. That's why it really irritates me a lot, because these guys, like I said, when I went to the WD and I went through their factory, and I'd hear people say things, and I didn't really watch a person write this stuff down and go, okay, what and they actually had significant power, you know what I mean? Like, to change things. That's when I started thinking about this, and I said, you know what? A lot of this stuff is a gimmick. A lot of this stuff is a waste of time for meeting with these guys, because I'd meet with the one Genie rep, and I remember, his big thing was like, he would buy me like food all the time, right? He was like, I'll take you out to dinner. And I'm like, okay. And I mean, I like hanging out. He was a nice guy and that. And hey, I'll take a meal. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid of that. But he just kept, you get ready to order. You ready to order? We only have a 1% return. And I'm like, that's what gets me. Like, right there, I'm going, that's what I really want. I don't want these things to fail. I already got there's a slew, I don't know, 5 or 10 or whatever it is at the shop of genies that have had issues. And the problem is like, I guess now we have to do an RGA, right? So WD won't just automatically return them. So now we gotta, you gotta spend the time, you know what I mean? And it's like, how are you supposed to spend 10, 15, 20, 2 hours on this opener? That's whatever, 100 and some bucks. I mean, who's got the time for that? I mean, it's just like, and then the problem is like today, for instance, I got to do a keypad. Do I, I'm debating about bringing the second keypad. You know what I mean? And this because I've never had a problem with these keypads. They've always been really good. But if that keypad doesn't work, now I got a second. Because if I don't, well, think about it. If it's an hour and 10 drive one way back, and even if I meet somebody, it just takes an enormous amount of time. So even with these garage door openers, the Genies, and we've had, LiftMaster, not the recent ones, but what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to take 2 openers, and so you got to take 2 openers. And then the problem is, now you're taking the chance that you're putting that opener, and heaven forbid or whatever, but somebody might steal it. Somebody might walk past a van that they don't lock and they take it. You know, there's all these different layers to these things that it's like I just want to grab a product that I've been doing for, you know, whatever it is, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, that I'm like, I've never had a problem. And then when I got one that's damaged and I go, this one looks like it got dropped pretty hard. This might be my problem. You know what I mean? Then it can have an excuse to break. You know what I mean? Or even just, I've been doing it for 2 years and I've only had one bad one, or maybe two, or, you know, I'm just not like every month you're getting 1, 2, or 3. You know what I mean? That's just, to me, it's just not good. I mean, and so what are you supposed to do? You know, and you know how it is when you're at the job. You're not going to sit there and you could spend all day, you know, trying to diagnose it, and, you know, it's just not good. It's just not good. I want a good product. I just want a good product. Give me a good product. I'll spend more money. I'll pay more money, but they don't even like give you that as an option. It's just like, oh, here, we just came out with this new, we got this new, video camera on it. You know, it watches your butt crack as it leaves. Oh, sweet. We got this new thing for Amazon, you know. And I mean, sure, some of these things are nice, but it's like, work on the function of the thing first. Make it open and close the garage door first, and everything else is kind of a secondary. Just me. You know what I mean? Openers that use on a daily basis. So we typically, Eric, I think you said something to ask about openers. We typically use, we've been using Genie. And I know the one guy would like to potentially try LiftMaster again. I don't think they've probably really changed. I think the wall mounts, I've been hearing good feedback on that since they got rid of the 8500. They've revamped it. I think they're better. But I've done Lanier, I've done Horman, I've done, you know, the Genie. I played a little bit with was it Marantec, you know, and it's like LiftMaster is phenomenal for programming. I mean, wouldn't you guys agree? You guys do LiftMaster. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's easy programming typically. You know, Genie, you got to push it twice. The remote's got a delay to it. You know, which I still don't understand why it's like that. You know what I mean? Where you like, I'm always telling, like, I always teach everybody. I'm like, when you program Genie, you click it, and then like I do it just like this. I go, click, let go, like you're fishing almost. Click, let go. You know, like you're casting. You can't just click, click, because it just doesn't work. So, 5 years up running business. Oh my guys, I'm gonna pay their yep. Let's see where we're at here. I know we dealt with, but every engineer, yeah, engineers, I caught breezy. It's been great. I have to go. Yes, I don't blame you. Emergency, door won't close at grocery store. Oh man, that's right. You gotta go. Yes, if manufacturer were held liable for labor warranty for a tech. Ooh, that's good, man. Ben, that's awesome. I agree. And I've heard some of these people doing it. Like they'll charge back. You know, it's like, but the problem is we're dealing with so many peanuts. You know what I mean? And how much is your time? And do you almost have to hire another full-time person that it's like, oh, here, I need you to put this opener on a bench. I need you to go through it. I need you to call tech support, which you know how that is. It takes you 10, 20 minutes just to get onto a phone with somebody. And then you get an RGA, you wait for the parts to come in, then the parts come in, they're not labeled that good. You don't know exactly where they go because it's been 2 weeks. You put the parts in, it still doesn't work. You know, it's something else. You got to call. I mean, it goes on and on. It's horrible. So I just think that's funny that if you said, yeah, if they were held for our labor, it's kind of like what did LiftMaster start doing? I think they started now they make you pay for it. So it's like how are you supposed to do that? Like, how are you supposed to, especially on these commercial ones? The commercial ones I've had it where it's like, you get a bad circuit board, right? And from my understanding, from my experience, they always tell me you're better off replacing both circuit boards. You got the one that's got the relays in the back. You got the one that's the front circuit board. And gate operators are like the same. The old green boards that we used to deal with, they were always like, you should replace them both as a pair. And that's crummy because they're whatever, $100 and some a piece. So you know, and the worst part is they go, well, we got, you know, LiftMaster will tell you, we got kind of two options here. You can take the circuit board You can send it in and we'll diagnose, and if it's bad, we'll send you a new one free of charge. Who's got time for that? I mean, oh, hey, customer, you're gonna have to be down a week or two because, you know, I can't, yeah, we're gonna see, and that's hoping on the other end, they find something wrong. You know what I mean? There still might be something going on with this opener that you don't know about, you know? So it's like, you need to get this thing, you need to get a circuit board in it right now and get this thing up and running. I mean, it's just a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. So it's like, look, I didn't call you because I'm bored. And now we got videos and that where like, I look at it and I go, they need to give the power to these people on the phone. And they need to have these people, like, I can FaceTime you, or I can video, or I can take pictures or whatever. And here's the VIN, you know, here's whatever. What do I do? And they go, yeah, we've seen this before. You know, and that's the thing. I just wish they were honest. Instead, they, you know, you can ask me, go, is this kind of a common problem? And I guarantee you, all of them will tell you, oh no, this is the first time. We don't normally see this. You know, you might get one, but you got to remember, they're being recorded. Their job is on the line. So it's just like, you know, and I'm like, I just want the truth. I just want to know, because I just need to know if I'm losing my mind. Because you go, I mean, you go silly, right? You're installing these and you're wondering if you did something wrong. It's crazy, just crazy. So let's see here. 8500 has more power. Ooh, but just cable monitors, love LiftMaster. New, That's good. That's good to know. Like I said, I don't install the 85s. I don't know if you can even get them. We got away from those a long time ago, and we never looked back. We did a lot of Genie screw drives. I have played around a little bit with the Genies. We'll try them again. There's more, yeah. They make a pay once, yeah. It's a damaged board, not refund. Yeah, that's what I mean. Surges, yeah. Suppression power, yep. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I get kind of over it. I really do. What they do with this stuff. I mean, they really need it. I mean, we're out in the field, man. You know how it is. On top of a ladder, no harness. You know, sweat dripping down your face. You're leaning over with a screwdriver, and you got your phone. And if you don't have a headset, you're even like more screwed. So, anywho, I think I'm gonna get off here. Like I said, if you guys want, let's do Sunday. Let's plan at 8 p.m. I'll fire this thing up. We'll see what we can do. See if we can cause some damage. Maybe we can shake up the industry and get somebody to listen and build us something nice and good. So, all right, guys, take care. Hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you're staying dry. Unlike me, we wet like a wet dog. We'll see ya.